And welcome to the Splashcast. I have someone here that most of you will recognize. He's from Bridgeport High School. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Bruce Keener II. A lot of people call me Randy. So, yeah.
Well, welcome, Bruce. I have quite a lot of things to ask you here, but the very first thing is I think you actually have a connection to someone at the Eastern Panhandle, I believe. I believe there's a coach at the Eastern Panhandle by the name of Matt Chapman that you might know.
I love Matt. Yeah, Matt was he ran all my workouts up until after high school states my freshman year. So him and Tom worked together, and Tom at that time, my head club coach, he did all the younger kids and middle school kid age, and Matt would run all of our high school age practices. So Matt was my coach in 8th and 9th grade. So yeah.
He told me it was different coming to the state meet last year and seeing you all grown up.
Yeah, I think the last time he saw me, I was chubby and didn't I didn't swim like that. So
yeah, I think that's something like you said. I was in his wedding, and then I went, so I know him pretty well. Anyway, so let's talk about Bridgeport first. Let's talk about that. What is the mindset of Bridgeport? And then we'll talk about you. But Bridgeport, kind of we got championship season coming up. What are you guys thinking about over in Bridgeport High School? What's the mindset?
I can't speak for the girls, but I can speak pretty well for the boys. We understand our size. It's not what we used to have. I think we only have 8 boys on the team this year. So that's significantly smaller. I think my freshman year, we took 10 boys to states. Mm-hmm. So, just to have 8 to start off is a lot smaller. So, personally, I think we could pull something off here in the end and go for a pretty big run like we've done the past 3 years. But, I think the past 3 years, the focus has always been winning. I think this year, I think we're just going to take it one step at a time, one event at a time, and just, if it happens, it happens, but we're just going to control everything that we can control. And, we're going to go out. There's 5 seniors on the team. So I think all of us just want to go out with a pretty big bang. And, if it happens, it happens. If not, we're just going to do our thing, try and win our relays and just have a good time, leave the state meet with some plaques or whatever and some memories and have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you get to march around the parade and all that good stuff. Of course, Fairmont Senior, I don't know if you remember this, years ago, they had the world's smallest team. I think they qualified 5 girls and they were state runner-up. So maybe you all could pull something like that off. It is possible. It's only been done once. So tell me, what are you thinking? I know you swam the backstroke last year and you were so close to the state record. So close. I remember that for 2 reasons. One, I remember when the state record was set, because I have that on camera somewhere about that big moment was set. But 2, how does that, is that in your head still this year? I know if I missed it by, I'm sure you probably know how many point seconds that you missed it by. If I missed the state record by that, I feel like that's all I could think about for the whole year. Tell me, is that on your mind or?
Well, I mean, it's been on my mind since my freshman year. I remember very vividly David leaning over we shook hands and he leaned over and he goes, "That's yours next year." And in my mind, I was like, yeah, there's no doubt. I'm going to drop time. I'm going to do this, going to do that. And I jokingly my sophomore year, I broke his penguin record. I was faster than what he was at regionals, yada, yada, yada. But it came down to it and I didn't take it out fast enough. And my Tom was like, that's my fault. I told you that, you should have taken it out faster. And, we didn't exactly prep for it as much as I did my freshman year. It's my freshman year, that's all I did, the goal was to beat David Snyder. You know, I like every time I showed up to practice and we did a backstroke set, it was like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be trying to run down David Snyder. And so like my sophomore year, I didn't have that. I just had some time that I was kind of like chasing after. And so, you know, I missed it, you know, like in hindsight, I was like, oh, it's like no big deal. Like whatever, like I still have 3 more years or whatever. And then like the pandemic hit and I was just kind of like, I had to sit on it for 2 months, knowing that was the last time I swam the 100 backstroke and I didn't swim it the way I wanted to swim it. And, you know, like if we're being honest, I don't think that wasn't like my big focus meet that year. Like I was going to YMCA nationals. That was the meet, you know, like I had 4 cuts. I was going to go swim there. And I was just, you know, I was okay with going 50.9 or 50.8 or whatever I went that year. And I was kind of like, okay, like I understand what I can do and what I can fix. And then the pandemic hit and then they pushed it back. And ironically enough, I swam in a meet January last year leading up to like the state, like high school thing. And I was 50.2. So I was like, I'm under it, you know, like I was like, I can do this. I was 50.7 in prelim. So I've been under it twice and I did a time trial that fall and I was 50.7 again. So like in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I've been under it 3 times now. Like there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to go under it. And for whatever reason, I tried way too hard and I forced the first 50 and I remember pushing off at the 50 turn and kicking and I was like, I have nothing. And I remember just touching and like, I don't like how I acted afterwards. I was pretty pissy and I don't think I shook Patrick's hand. And that's something I wanted to do because me and Patrick kind of had a bond going all year. And I wanted that to be a moment between both of us. And I ruined that on my part. And so I kind of had to sit on it, you know, since then. And I'm very thankful that I do have another year to learn and grow and how to like act in those situations. And I had a really rough spring. And so I kind of rebounded the summer and I'm just kind of learning and taking it one step at a time. But I mean, for sure, every time I swim 100 backstroke, it's just, I always get reminded that a little 50.8's there. But, you know, I think at some point you have to kind of look past it and just let it happen. And so that's what I'm going to try this year. So.
Oh, no problem. Now tell me, now I've heard this before in the stands. And so everyone usually will go, Bruce. But the very first time I heard this, did you ever, and I thought people were booing. So like, so did that like, whenever you heard like people like scream out Bruce, did you think they were calling out your name or did it like sound like Bruce to you or do you just not even hear it?
No, I'm like, at first I was like, I just heard like that, like the ooze part and I was like, what are they saying? And then it like dawned on me a little bit afterwards. But yeah, I'm like, I know like all my coaches like jokingly call me Bruce whenever I do something silly or something, or like they'll yell it out. And Tom loves doing that because he's goofy. But yeah, it was a little bit different, but I liked it the first time it happened. So
well, and following up on that, like I know like it's got to be weird being, you know, you're like a senior in high school, but like pretty much everyone knows your name. They know like that you're a backstroker. Like how weird is it to just be like, you don't know half the people that know who you are in the state of West Virginia. And everyone's like, yeah, he's like this really, like they've never met you a day in their life, but they have this like vision of like just how great you swim. Talk about that. How weird is that for you?
I've never really like thought of it like that, like that. Like I did start noticing it like as I got a little older, people kind of recognized me a little bit more, or like or people will come up and be like, oh, he did like this, such and such. And people always get like a weird look, probably because I'm like 5'8". So like all the people I train with, like Preston Bennett is a prime example. I'm pretty sure he's like 6 inches taller than me. And it's like hilarious because like every time I talk to anybody, it's like I look up to them. And so, but yeah, no, I don't know. It's just like summer league, I really realized it this summer. Like I had all these like little kids kind of like looking up to me and it's like, oh man, like maybe I shouldn't act this dumb at a summer league meet. So like I've kind of like tried to be a bit bigger of like a role model and to like the little kids on the teams and stuff like that. Cause I feel like, you know, like if you hear it from your parent, it doesn't always get through, but if you hear it from someone else, it might get through. So like this past weekend, there was this little girl crying on the pool deck, and I was just kind of like, hey man, like you've already done this before, there should be like no problem. Like 10 minutes later, her and her little friend were running around. So like I rather have stuff like that than people come up and tell me how fast I am, because I'm never gonna tell them that like, oh yeah, that's me. Like no, like I don't view myself as that fast. Like once I go to college, I'm not going to be anything overly spectacular. So I'm back on ground one, which I think is going to be really happy. But yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned college, because that's exactly where I was going next. So now I believe you are going, you're going somewhere. Talk to me about, before we say where it is, talk to me about, were there multiple colleges you were considering, or was there like, did you know you were going to the college that you're going to now? Like in your head, was there like tons of options you had, no options? Were you like, oh my gosh, I'm a senior in college, I need to apply to something real fast? Like talk to me about college there for a second.
There wasn't a whole lot of colleges, and part of that's probably my fault. I didn't like reach out to a lot of places because I'm a pretty shy person. So like I just enjoy my little group of people and whatnot. So there was really just two that like I really enjoyed. In total, I think I probably talked to like 4 coaches, and that was it. So one of them being Michael Walker. So he went to Bridgeport High School, and he swam under Tom as well. So that was like, it was really easy for him to get in contact with me. So I talked to him a lot. And he was really the only coach that like reached out that much to me. And so like for the longest time, it was just kind of like, I don't know if it was like expected, like in my head, I just expected to go to Delaware, but I wanted to keep my options open. And Tim Stolings, he's another swimmer from the state. He went to the University of Findlay. And so they came to a long course meet in May. And me and Timmy have talked before and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like I looked into Findlay and whatnot. And he was like, he was like really shocked. He's like, oh, you're even considering Findlay? And I was like, well, yeah, like they have the program I want to study and everything. And so later that day, I ended up talking to their assistant coach for like a half hour at the meet afterwards. And yeah, that's just kind of where that started. So I didn't have a big pool of coaches, come flocking to me, but I just had a few that, stuck out to me and I talked to, and I toured 2 colleges and I made my decision based off of that.
And I do know where the University of Findlay is, but I know a lot of people didn't. A lot of people, whenever they said, "Oh, you just go to the University of Findlay," they're like, "Where's Findlay, Ohio?"
Yeah.
So now let's talk about let's just talk about Bruce for a second. So what is there? So everyone knows you as the swimmer. They know you as this, but there's got to be some hidden talents that you have that's not swimming related. So obviously you go to swim practice every day and you swim a lot, but that's not very exciting. What's something exciting about Bruce that like maybe people should that don't know about should know about?
I guess I'll just rattle off a few things that I do outside of the water. I've been taking piano lessons since I was in like 3rd grade. So like Wednesday nights after swimming, like I'll go and I'll have a half-hour piano lesson. And so me and Miss Carla just kind of sit there and I play through songs pretty poorly in my eyes. So like usually the piano is just kind of like, if I have a bad practice, I'll go practice. But if I have a good day, I'm pretty much wiped by the time I get home. So I just come home and go to sleep. But yeah, it's a little escape for me. Right now in my aerospace class, we're flying drones. So I've been pretty into that. So like drones and math and physics are kind of like my stronger subjects in school. So I gravitate towards the mathematical side of things, and I enjoy those classes. And I watch a lot of movies and TV shows. Like I'll sit here, like today I've just been binge watching. I've never made it through like the Legend of Korra Avatar, so I've been binge watching it recently. And yeah, I just watch a lot of movies. I'm a pretty like boring person. Like I do kind of just go to swim practice and then come home and just watch movies and stay out of trouble. So
That's what pretty much everyone that I've interviewed has done. They've been like, yeah, I go to swim practice. And it's so hard. It's weird. Like you guys, you swim so much and then you realize, oh shoot, I guess I don't know what I do outside of swimming.
Yeah, I have a really bad tendency of like getting caught up in swimming. So like I need to like find escapes. So I watch a lot of YouTube, but in the summertime, it's a little bit easier to like get out. So like I live on a farm, so I can go like ride around on my farm. I go fishing if I want and stuff like that. So,
You live on a
but
farm? You live on a farm?
yeah, yeah. I don't actually like technically I don't live in the city of Bridgeport, but I'm still in like their school district, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have like a Shinston address, but like I live nowhere near Shinston. So if you know where like Whitehall is, I live a little bit away from, yeah, I live in Boozville. So like I'm like it takes me 20 minutes to get to school. So yeah, I live on like a 90-acre farm and we have ponds and cows and my grandpa cuts hay in the summer and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. And you're a piano player, which is, you know, what I am, as you can tell by the piano in the background. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, that's really cool. Don't ever give that up, because you'll never know whenever you need the piano skills later in life. Because there was about 400 other things I thought I'd be doing, and I became a choir teacher. So, all right. Well, tell me also. I've been asking every swimmer this. What is your favorite? So you swam for 4,000 years of your life. What is your favorite workout swim set?
Oh, this is tough. I don't like. We don't really like repeat sets, if that like makes any sense. Like,
yeah.
Like Tom just kind of, we do like, I take that back. We do a lot of like similar things throughout. Like we don't have a specific like every day we come in, it could be like anything. So like we might kick a lot one day, we might pull a lot some days. Most of the time we do a lot of IM work. So we'll just do transition and drills and stuff like that. And a lot of aerobic swimming. But I definitely, one workout that I like afterwards, you like, oh, thank God I did that. But like during it, we did a Christmas tree set. So like, it's like a Christmas tree shape where you go like 25 and then you go 25, 50, 25, then you go 25, 50, 75, 50, 25. And we did it all the way down to like a 200, like last year over Christmas. And that was pretty rough. And then other than that, I just like doing like race-based things. So every now and again, like one time, like some of the things that I enjoy, like we'll do 425s fly on 30 or 25 seconds. So we'll just like in the middle of like a set or whatever. So I can kick 15 meters and take my 5 strokes and be happy with myself. So that kind of like, I don't know, it's just like a little break in between whatever we're doing. But other than that, like, yeah, anything with fins though, like I'll kick a lot. I really like kicking. So we've done, sometimes he'll like give us a choice of like 6 200s. So sometimes I'll split it between like backstroke pull and then I'll kick on my back butterfly. But yeah, I mean, just like simple things. I don't like getting too complicated with things. So I really like the 425s fly and 200s kick with fins. I enjoy those.
Fins are awesome. I don't know. You feel like you're amazing whenever you have fins on. You feel like you're like the fastest swimmer in the world with fins.
Every time you throw fins on, like I have like the short fins, like the power fins or whatever. So it makes you kick up and like you get the up kick a lot more. And like the back of my legs are like, it just hurts so much for like no good reason. So, but we do a lot of like speed kicks. So like the other day at practice, we did like 200 relays, but it was like 50 kicks with fins on. So like we did a relay start with fins off the block. And that was a lot of fun because you just like, you get to sprint butterfly kick. But yeah, by the end of it, you know, to me, it feels like it's your last turn and like 100 fly, 100 back, like you're kicking off the ball and you're not really sure what you're doing. You just kind of like flailing in the water.
Yeah.
Like you feel that for a whole 25. So yeah.
Now, I'm sure you may or may not know this, but there are 2 and maybe only 2 coaches, or maybe another one, I'm sure someone will point it out to me later, that have been coaching since the WVSSAC swim meet has started. Glenn Edwards at Jefferson High School, and good old Jan Grisso at Bridgeport. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I listened to your guys' podcast with Glenn last year. And I said that.
Yes. So tell me, do you have any? What's it like to like swim for Jan? Is it like I just know she's just been around. You have any good like Jan Grisso stories, or just kind of like I just
Yeah. So Jan, over the past, like in my high school career, I think I've seen it a very different way than most people. And that's no fault of anybody else's. It's just a pandemic. So like uh, Wendy Madden has really been, she runs all of our workouts. So Jan doesn't necessarily do the workouts. She just kind of sets up the meets and stuff like that. So like Wendy throws a lot of good sets at us. And my freshman year, Jack Mariner was kind of that, he filled the role of like writing workouts and stuff like that. But yeah, Jan is, she's, last year she didn't, like I didn't see her at all because she, she has her reasons. And so, I kind of missed out on that. But I remember a lot of like my freshman year, we went to Wheeling Park. That was my first ever high school meet. We drove up to Wheeling Park. It was like a Wednesday night. And so I fell asleep and I wake up and we're in like Wheeling, I guess. It's like pitch dark outside. And we are stopped in some random parking lot in Wheeling. And Jan's like, we're lost and I don't know where we're going. And I'm thinking like I look at my phone, I was like, we were supposed to be warming up 40 minutes ago. And so we showed up like 45 minutes late and we roll in and everyone's sitting there waiting for us to get into the water and warm up. And I was like, this is very embarrassing. And then like a month later, we're going to Brook for like the Brook Winter Invite. And whatever way we went, I woke up, once again, I fall asleep, but I woke up again and we're like on this hill. And you look off to your left and you can see the high school, like blatantly see the high school, like parking lots, like everything. And so we drive down to the bottom of the hill and Jan says to go right. Like for whatever reason, I don't know why, but she's like, no, right is the correct way. And like everyone's like looking around, we're like, the school's on the left. We get down to the bottom, no, we're going to take a right. And sure enough, we end up in some random neighborhood. And we pull off into this neighborhood and some guy's like shoveling his driveway or something. And Jan gets out of the bus to ask him where Brook High School is. And so we showed up late. We weren't late. We were trying to get there early, but like still like that, like I know 2 times we were on a bus and Jan took the wrong turn somehow. And like, and then one more story. It was my sophomore year. We were at Penguin. Either freshman or sophomore year. I don't remember. But I think we were all riding the bus home. Or at least all the boys were going to ride the bus home because we thought it was funny or whatever. And we were sitting in the parking lot waiting on the bus to show up. And John Carter and Philip Malinich start nagging each other. And they formed up snowballs. One hit Jan in the back of the leg. She goes, boys, what are you doing? And she started yelling at us. And like 3 more snowballs came flying. And we had like a little snowball fight in the parking lot. And we got on the bus and she goes, never throw small balls at me again. And she was going on and on at us. But yeah, someone hit her with the snowball that day and she wasn't too happy about it. She laughed it off later, but in the moment she was not very happy with us.
I can't even imagine, even think about hitting Jan Grissa with a snowball.
See, we all had her in class. So like I had her in 8th grade English and like, there's so many stories from that class that like, not even like my class, but like other swimmers that had her in class that are like funny. Like John Carter used to take sticky notes and put them on her back and she wouldn't find them until she got to like swim practice and all the high schoolers would be like, Jan, you have a sticky note on the back of your Or like Marcel, he had her in class and they took a glue stick and they glued a piece of paper to someone's desk. And she came in and she's like, why is there somebody, like she started yelling at him because someone glued someone's paper to a desk and Marcel's in the back rolling around.
That's awesome. Now tell me, kind of going with this, what is there, as you're gearing up for the state meet, is there any cool traditions that Bridgeport does, or any cool state swim meet stories that you have with like the guys that you have? I guess it's 2 questions. One, is there traditions that Bridgeport swimming does that are kind of unique? And then secondly, what's like your favorite like state meet story?
Tradition wise, I'm not like too sure. Like we always have a spaghetti dinner at someone's house the night before, like Wednesday night or like Wednesday afternoon. So we'll get out of school like a half hour early and we'll go practice. And then we'll all go home, get ready, pack, and go to someone's house to have spaghetti dinner. And then we'll go up to the hotel. But like traditional wise, like that never really happened. I think like the parkas used to be a tradition. Like you'd always walk out in the park and stuff like that. I remember my freshman year we had to do it, and I was like, what do you mean we had to do that? Like, I didn't know it was a thing until I got to States. So like I left my parka at home, so I wore like some girl's parka all weekend. um but I didn't like, we always make some like fun like joke or whatever. That was kind of like my freshman year. We had a thing with like the Lion King. So like our medley relay, our walkout song was The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And then our sophomore year, we had some like weird song Marcel really liked, and we'd sing it at all the meets. So that was going to be our walkout song, but we didn't get to pick a walkout song that year. So that kind of fell through. But traditional wise, I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, my favorite like high school meet story though is I don't know. Like, I don't have one that like just sticks out. I really like the medley relay my freshman year. Like that was my first ever state title, so I hold that near and dear to my heart. It's just kind of like one of those things because like I guess like like the year before they had won one relay, but then all of a sudden it was just kind of like we had this notion that we were kind of like, oh, like we could win our second ever state title. And so you come out that morning and you went the first event you win, and you're just kind of like, yeah, it's going to be a pretty good day. So that always sticks out in my mind. But I mean, most of the time it's just goofing off, just seeing friends and stuff like that. Like I like that stuff. Like I have a really good friendship with all the boys from George Washington. So like Ian, like I grew up racing Ian, Grant, and Zach, like all since like we were like 8 or something. So like I always have good friendships with them. And like Leif Potters, he's a cool dude. He's funny. I remember we were watching the girls state meet in 2019, my freshman year, and he was sitting there with this like pants rolled up playing Pokemon on like a DS or something. And this coach came over and yelled at him, and like all of us were over there hanging out together. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just last year, whenever we sat up in the stands, we sang happy birthday to Cameron Ziliani. Like all of us we were up there having a good time. We were yelling stuff and just taking bets on who was going to win stuff because we were already done swimming. So
I remember that because I think I reached over to the video production people. I was like, yeah, I think someone's birthday is today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just me, Patrick, and Preston, and Adam Thubio. He likes being pretty rowdy. He's loud, so him and Caden get together and they'll start singing and stuff like that. They're really fun to be with at practice. They keep it pretty light. So yeah.
Now, and I think I asked Henry this because Henry was on this not too long ago. So I guess most people don't know, or most parents or whoever watches this don't know that like most of you, even though you're racing each other, are pretty good friends outside of the water. So yeah, because like so do you have any so how is that like? So you're trying to beat them. Like what's it like to have other friends in here, and like what are you guys thinking about? Do you guys like get on the blocks and be like, hey, I'm gonna beat you here in 10 seconds, or like what? How does that work?
Yeah, typically like I'm kind of like that. Like I don't like I'm friends with like I'm pretty cool with everybody. I don't dislike anybody in the state, and I'm pretty cool with them. But like whenever it comes down to racing, like I'm not going to be very happy if someone like out touches me or something. So like typically it's like, yeah, I'm going to kick your ass here in a few seconds or something. Like I'll get rowdy at practice, but yeah, like me and Patrick had like a playful, like we get playful and get mean at each other sometimes, like over the summer, because he trained with us this summer. And so like summer league meets, you're swimming like 50 fly, 50 breasts, and so we're kind of like whatever, like we're gonna throw down, and like so we would always like we go to meets, and like he would like we'll go 3-4 or something in a 200 freestyle relay, and like first question we get out of the water, we'll go to Tom like who had the faster split. And so it's just like little things like that. But people I train with, it's just little things like that. You don't want to lose to someone in practice, but if you do, you kind of like realize you're like, oh, well, maybe they had a good set or something. But like people like Ian, he was very mature about the whole thing, because like whenever we were young, he used to kick us. Like he was really fast, like 14, 13, like there was like wasn't even close to him. And then like my freshman year, we all kind of caught up to him, and he was pretty relaxed about it, which like if I were like that, I'd be pretty down and out of myself. But he kept a pretty positive attitude about it, and that's something I always admired of him. I'm kind of learning through that right now too. So yeah, but no, typically I'm pretty cool with everyone on the pool deck, but probably 10 minutes before a race, it's a different attitude. I'm not going to lose to any of them or none of that. We're going to be not friends for like 2 minutes, and then afterwards it'd be okay.
Now, do you think after you swim after you swim for high school and college, do you think that maybe that coaching would be one of those things that you would come back to, or do you think like once I'm done college, I'm sick of swimming, I don't want to do it anymore?
I don't think I'd be a very good coach. I don't understand how Tom does it like at all. Like he has like, I think I have like the general idea of like what to do with kids, but I think there's like a social aspect of it that you also have to have. So like you got to pick up on social cues. Like if people come in and they're all like dragging their bag and stuff, like you got to know when to push and when not to push. I don't think I could recognize. Give me a second.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. So I don't think I'd like socially be able to coach. So yeah, but I'm definitely not going to like leave the sport forever. I'm a very big fan. Like I keep up with like all like what the pros are doing and stuff like that. Like I'm a big advocate for the sport and like having people learn how to swim, not necessarily like swimming on a team and stuff like that. Cause like that's not for everybody, and I understand that, but I think everyone should have like water safety and stuff like that. So I think I could teach swim lessons, but I don't think I could ever coach a team.
It is hard. Trust me, it's not, especially if everyone's in a bad mood. It's like, it's pretty much,
you can't just write stuff up on a board and expect people just to get better. So like, I've always had an immense respect for the people who do it and do it well. And so, I've heard stories of how other coaches in the area coach, and I just don't understand it. And so, I'm very thankful that I made the switch whenever I was 10 to go to the YMCA and swim under Tom. If I didn't do that, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Now, on those terms, what is there things you like better about high school meets as opposed to club meets? Like what, if you could compare the two, like which do you think, not necessarily better, but what do you like necessarily more about high school meet that you don't get to do in a club meet necessarily?
People always make it out to seem like they're very different things, and they're really not, in my opinion. Like, I think they're very comparable. I'd even compare like a summer league meet to a high school meet or like a club meet. Like, I don't think you should really view all those things differently. Like, you shouldn't have a different mindset just because like you're racing RCB on a Friday night, or if you're going to go to Buckhannon and swim the splashers on a Tuesday night, or go to, YMCA nationals or whatever. Like, you're still going to dive in and race as hard as you can. You're just doing it with different people in different lanes. So I don't think you should have a vastly different idea of what should be going on. It's pretty cut and dry. You're swimming the same races. It's just different pools, different areas and stuff like that. So I would say club, I think there's a different attitude towards it. I think people, I don't want to say necessarily take it more seriously, but I think there's a paying aspect to it. So people are saying, I'm going to pay to do this, so I'm going to take it a little bit more seriously. But if you get the right people around a high school meet, I don't think there's a big difference.
No, I agree. I think that our state meets kind of more of like parade like, especially when we have the 2 days. But and unfortunately, they won't wear the blue coats for. Usually, the officials will put the blue coats on for the finals, and it's really serious when they put the blue jackets on. But they're not doing it this year. All right. So, last question that I asked that's stumped everyone. It has stumped everyone. You ready for this? It's the stumper. If you could be, you ready? If you could be good at any other sport besides swimming, what sport do you think it would be, and why? See, I told you it's a stumper.
Yeah, you have to be careful with it, Josh, because I think the short answer, I don't know. That is a pretty good question. I don't know. I would say baseball because of how much I liked it whenever I was younger, but I don't necessarily agree with the culture that like our school has around baseball and stuff like that. And I don't think it's I don't think I enjoy the other cultures as much as I like swimming. So maybe, I don't know, maybe like a weird sport, like, I shouldn't say that. Um, probably,
Obscure sport.
I don't know. Maybe like water polo or something. I enjoy getting into it at like intramural water polo, like practice or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If we had a water polo, I think, sorry everybody in West Virginia, it would be waterpolowestvirginia.com would be my website. I would hand this in and be a water polo expert.
Yeah, I don't like. I think I'd have to do something in the water. The water to me makes me feel comfortable. So I probably try. I don't think I could dive. I don't have the guts for that. But I think water polo, it has like the elements of like soccer, but like less strenuous. Well, it's just as strenuous, but like not as bad on like your legs and stuff like that, like running. So
That's true. And I did lie to you. I actually just thought of one other last question. If you are to be seated first in any of your events, do you have your state meet song picked out?
Short answer, no. And typically, I'll think about it. I'll listen to a song and be like, this would be a good walkout song. And then I like think back and it's like, has to be clean. But no, not really. Like me and my girlfriend Lily, we'll sit there and she'll probably pick it out. So yeah, 2 years ago, Tom picked out both the songs. So he was just like, do something AC/DC. I was like, okay. And like I remember, like I think I chose Thunderstruck before Henry did. Yeah. But since the 50 free was before the 100 back, it played before me. And so like I was sitting there like warming down and like heard Thunderstruck. It's like, who picked Thunderstruck as their walkout song? I was like, I thought I picked it first. But yeah.
Did he tell you why? Did Henry ever tell you why he picked Thunderstruck?
I didn't know. So
he picked Thunderstruck because it's a Marshall song. And so he thought it'd be really funny to do Thunderstruck as like go against WVU because he's from like the Marshall area. Yeah. So that's why I always picked Thunderstruck.
I had no idea. I just thought you liked the song, and I was just picking AC/DC songs at that rate. So yeah, that's pretty funny.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on here, and I look forward to seeing you at States. I think you'll hear me making the call again at States of the state swim meet, so that'll be fun, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem.